All right, beautiful morning here. Got all the fall colors in the mountain. I think it's supposed to rain later, but right now we got a blue sky. Driving the Saturn. Gotta love it. At the park here. You can see it was kind of stormy and rainy, but right now it's pretty nice. I'm just going to continue to talk. It'll be maybe a 6 or 7 minute video here probably, but I was watching videos about how like consumer spending and the data, the numbers are like still pretty strong. Like the spending is up, and all of that is just because they charge more money for the same amount of stuff, right? As a consumer, you know this. When you go to the store, the same stuff that you bought a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago just costs more. It's not like you're buying more. You're just paying more for the same amount of stuff. Or in many cases, it's literally shrinkflation. So you're paying the same amount of money or more. Actually, no, I'm sorry. You're paying more money for literally less. So the packaging of the food is smaller. The amount of items that are in the box is less. And you're forced to do that as a consumer because there's just certain things you have to buy. Like there's staples that you need to buy to live. You have to buy toothpaste. You have to buy toilet paper. You have to buy food. And so you don't really have, I mean, the other option, I guess, is you could grow your own food, but most people don't do that. So even though people probably would say they're pulling back, they're really just paying more for the same amount of goods. So the companies push that because they control the prices, and they have to basically reflect that they're doing well. So they'll pass along a bunch of extra costs to the consumer. The consumer's not getting anything additional. They're just paying more money for literally getting, in some cases, the same amount of food, but in a lot of cases, they're getting less, whether it's food or, like I said, consumer items, toothpaste, deodorant, whatever it is. They'll literally sell you a smaller size item and they'll charge you the same amount of money for it. So that's what's happening. And every company does it because they need to maintain their profit margin. And they do that on a yearly basis, So as a consumer, even if you feel like you're trying to spend less, a lot of times you're being squeezed and you're having to spend more money for the same amount of stuff that you bought just a few years ago. And again, that's applicable to just about every single industry or every single thing you have to buy. Housing is like I always say, housing is the best example of that because everyone needs to live somewhere. And whether you're renting or whether you're trying to buy a house or a condo or whatever, you know how much more expensive it's got in the last few years. And the underlying reason for that is because we take a look at the United States, but a lot of governments are the same way. They can't control their spending problem. They have a spending problem. It's like someone using a credit card that has an unlimited budget and they know they're never going to get maxed out, so they just keep spending. So really the government's only way to solve this problem is to continue to inflate the currency and make, they owe money right now. Right? They owe $35 trillion that's what they have in debt, okay? And the way that they're going to be able to make that easier to pay back is that they are going to devalue the dollar. They're going to make the value of the dollar worth less. And that's the whole idea with a mortgage too. If you have a mortgage, you want to lock in your mortgage rate on your housing payment because over a 30-year period, that cost will be less and less. If you have, let's say 10 years ago, you bought a condo and the monthly mortgage payment was $1,000 a month. That might have seemed like a lot of money back in 2014. But right now, you're still paying $1,000 a month for your condo. And if you wanted to buy the condo today, the monthly mortgage cost might be $2,500 a month. So you can see how that works in your advantage if you're able to lock in a low payment. Over time, the dollar just loses its value. So your payment becomes less onerous. It's not necessarily that the property became more valuable. I mean, it did in nominal terms, but the value of the underlying currency that you're using to pay for your real estate has devalued. And so that's why all the people that own assets do well, because they have things that are protected against inflation. If you do not own, at least historically, if you don't own assets or hedges against inflation like gold and commodities and, again, real estate, things just continue to become more expensive for you. And if your income does not keep up with the cost of living and with the cost of assets, then you're just continually behind, and you're on that, proverbial hamster wheel that I like to talk about. So the United States is going to do that. I think inflation's going to come back. It's the only way that they can realistically honor all their commitments. I mean, all the people that are on Social Security, all the people that are on Medicare, all the military spending, all the government programs that we give to people, they don't really have that money. They're just going to print it or, use the computer to digitally create a bunch of money. So if you're holding currency or you're holding money that's not in assets, you're going to get devalued. So it's just going to cost you more to buy the same amount of goods, the same basket of goods that you have to buy at the store, or the real estate that you have to buy, or the rent prices you have to pay, or the insurance prices that you have to pay. They're going to continue to go up because the government is being irresponsible, and they're printing all this money, or they're creating it out of thin air. So that's why you want to be in, assets, because you can't print. I've said it multiple times. You cannot print houses. You can't print, you can mine for gold, but it requires you to actually go work. You have to get excavators. You have to go get the land. You have to work the land. You have to use a sluice and get all the dirt out of the, you have to sluice all the gold, right? So it takes energy to get gold. The government can just create $1 trillion instantaneously. And all that does to your money is make your money just less valuable. It's going to require more of your money to buy the same amount of items. So it's unfortunate for people that are on that side of things, because it's really regressive. Inflation really destroys the lower class of people because they don't own assets. So they're just struggling just to survive. I mean, to pay their rent and to eat. Although the people that own real estate, the people that own stocks, they continue to get a kind of rising tide. It lifts all their boats, right? They get more steam out of it because there's more money being pumped into those ecosystems. But if you're just on the bottom, things are kind of tough, because your everyday expenses become more, your rent becomes more, and your purchasing power gets diminished, because your income as a normal person usually does not go up more than 5% a year. And when inflation is compounding at closer to 7 to 10% a year, you're getting left behind. So anyways, that's just a quick rant on that. You guys have heard it before. Let me know what you think. You can subscribe for more. I'm going to go enjoy this day before the rain comes back. Driving the Saturn. Subscribe for more. See you on the next one. Take care.